Cambridge, the Tuesday, July 27th meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Rose. Franklin. Whitworth.
Here.
Breinig.
Here.
Galler.
Here.
Cumbier.
Here.
McNally.
Here. Okay, if we can stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, one of these days you're going to surprise me, Lisa, but I'll just keep asking, have we properly posted the meeting?
It has been posted in the upper and lower levels of the Amundsen Community Center, the Cambridge Post Office, Hometown Bank, and the village website.
Is that actually a requirement that we go through? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's just,
Yep.
all
It's
right,
happened where they haven't posted it sometimes.
That recently.
Not very
yeah,
often, but.
pretty recent. All right, okay, well, we're legal here.
We are.
Okay, we're going to get right into public appearances, and I will call Laura Payne, but I don't see her. Jefferson County Supervisor, Laura Payne. She's not here. Maybe she might come in a little bit late. Is Katie Varney here with Dane County Breakfast on the Farm? Okay, Katie, can you come up here? Okay. Introduce yourself for those of us on the dais. And
Can I hand out stuff or
oh,
not?
of course
Okay.
you can.
I didn't know what. Yeah.
Thank you.
Recap of what I talked about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, hello, my name is Katie Varney. I'm with Dane County Breakfast on the Farm. And as most of you know, that's being held at Hinchley's Dairy Farm this year. So they were our host, that was gonna be our 2020 event that was canceled, and so they are now hosting still this year. And they were a previous host for us back in 2009. So it's just exciting for us to be in this area again. We like to just come and introduce ourselves, give you a face with the name of the coordinator group. We come to the village meetings and the town meetings every year, just to give you guys a little information about our event, and again, give you someone to go to if any questions arise as you hear things as we get closer to the event. So I'll kind of just, a lot of our contact information's there if anyone needed it. Volunteering, obviously a big thing these days. We can always use more volunteers, so if you know of anyone that wants to help with that, it is a sign up on our website. All the social media sites are there. And then we are a part of the Dane County Dairy Promotion Committee. That committee puts on Cows on the Concourse and Breakfast on the Farm. So we're a part of that overlying committee. So they put on the event along with obviously our community sponsors. So the logistics are, we moved it from June, which is typically the June dairy month in Wisconsin, to August this year. The 21st is a Saturday, and we serve from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This is the 42nd annual. We're still thinking we're going to get a great crowd, which is usually anywhere from about 5,000 to 6,000 people. It's a full event, more than just breakfast, we say. It's education, music, entertainment, there's product samples, there's wagon rides, just so many fun activities. And this year, kind of a neat thing that we're going to do is our typical Cows on the Concourse event did not take place. So they're bringing some of their stations that they would normally do at an event, like a scavenger hunt and a fitness zone. And I think there's one other thing they're bringing along too, to just make that event much more exciting for everyone and have more stations for people to check out. What the farm looks like now compared to what it did in 2009 is drastically different, and there's another generation involved, so just the story that Hinchley's has to tell is really exciting for us to share that with the community and with that urban population. And that is really our mission, is to just enhance the understanding of agriculture, and this event is a great way to do it. And anyone who's willing to open up their farm to 6,000 people is really in love with what they're doing and wants to share their story. So we're just really grateful for them. So usually we will have fire, EMS, and police. Is that a local thing for Cambridge? Do you guys have your own local for all of them? Okay, perfect.
Well,
Some,
we
well,
share with Deerfield.
Okay,
We share
The
pay.
police.
The
Okay.
police, it would be Dane County.
sheriff.
Yes,
Okay.
ours is just, our contract is the village of Cambridge.
Okay.
Since they're outside, it
Okay.
would be Dane County.
Okay.
And then the Cambridge area fire and
And-
EMS
Okay,
commission.
perfect. We like them to come. It's a great community event for them if they're up to doing the events yet. But usually, again, in normal circumstances, it's a great community event for them, and then they're also on site for us. God forbid anything happens at our event. So that's always a way we've really worked well with the community that we're in. And we just look at you guys as things come up. I think sometimes we've needed some help with some road signs at the last minute or posts or, whatever it is. And communities have just been really great to work with and enjoyed having our event in their town, so. That's really it. I mean, a lot of it, like I said, is on there. We just like to, like you said, give you a face to our name. There's 4 of us coordinators. I'm one of them, and we coordinate it for the committee.
And this event in Cambridge, it says Dane County, so this is promoted out throughout Dane County?
Yeah, we really do. I mean, we focus on the area we're in as like, there'll be some banners that go up closer to the event, but we'll do TV promotions and a lot of social media promotion, newspapers, and hit like the local areas. But it always depends. The closer we are to Madison, we get that little bit of a bigger crowd. And this year, we might get it from other areas. Just, it depends where we kind of land in the community, and it just changes our demographics a little bit.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything else?
A couple of questions.
Yeah.
Katie, I'm used to, I'm old school. I'm used to June as Dairy Month.
Yeah.
And so this year it's in August. Is there plans to bring it back to June? Okay, so
Yeah.
this year because of COVID?
We did it because typically we really need to get stuff sent out to sponsors by like March, is really, ideally January. Well, January, we really didn't know what was going on in Dane County. And then even in March, we were like, this just doesn't seem right yet. Not much was said with anything. And then shortly after we changed our date, then it was, well, Dane County Fair's a go. And some of these things start coming back on, but we just didn't feel like we could plan properly. And so we thought pushing it back. And the other benefit was, with some of the other counties that did host their event, we were able to learn from them a little bit of what they did differently or things that they adjusted to for hosting in this crazy time that we're in. So we just thought it gave us a little bit more time. And again, other counties just didn't have the restrictions that Dane County did. So we were just so nervous of being able to hold it and follow those rules.
Okay.
But yes, the goal is to go back. Usually Cows on the Concourse is the first Saturday in June, and Breakfast on the Farm is the second. And we already have our host for next year will be in the Dane area of Dane County, just outside of Lodi. And so that'll be back in a June event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be visiting with the commission, our fire and EMS. Do you want me to ask, or do you want to just call them yourself?
If you give them a heads up, that's great. Otherwise, usually I just kind of email them and contact them to see what they're up for.
Okay, all right. I can do that with a couple of them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
And then you'll take law enforcement and Chad and...
Yes,
know.
so sometimes we've used sheriffs we've hired them for traffic control. We need to think about that a little bit this year and where the turns are. We obviously want everything to be safe. And so it depends if, we just look at where that lands, where the parking lands, what kind of blind spots are there. And I don't know if we'll be hiring them this year. We used to have them come and they would volunteer.
Devil.
You might, we've got Mr. Saloff. You can ask him when you leave here.
Okay.
You can go back and...
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll deal with that. And-
Okay.
And talk with Terry on the fire department. Get
Yes,
them down.
they've always, it's always been so popular to have them there, and people really just love them. And again, usually it was just part of them participating in community stuff, so it was a good location for them to see a lot of folks.
Yeah. Well, we wish you success.
Thank you.
We'll try to get out there and take in a breakfast on the farm.
Yeah. One other question. Do you guys do any kind of newsletter or email blasts where we could do any kind of last minute promotion or not?
No.
Okay, that's what, some will have a newsletter that will put a little thing in or,
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
fine.
We don't have a regular
Other than
one.
our community page on Facebook, which you're welcome to post to, 'cause
Okay.
it's public.
okay, perfect.
But, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any other questions for Katie? All right, Katie, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming by. Okay, I don't see, Laura, so we'll dispense with that. Let's see, do we want to just move right into approval of the consent agenda? Okay. And,
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
all right.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion, questions? We're all good to go? Okay, all those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that's good. Okay, moving on, President's report. I just wanted to talk briefly. The concerts continue to just be a real hit. I see a couple of you guys, you two are there. And I don't know, Ted, I don't know if I've seen you down there yet.
Where?
At concerts on the square.
I won't be either.
You won't be, okay. I think they're doing a wonderful job. They had food, they won't have food this next, there's only one more concert left. But Lori and the Arts Council are really doing, I think, a great job with that. It's been well received.
Has there been any talk about moving it down to the other park?
You know, they've bought it up, but we've bought it up, but there's the problem is, it's the drainage. Because where they would have it, it gets real, if there's a rain, it gets real mucky, and that is because of the ice rink.
I think,
And,
I can bring that up at the next water meeting, Mark, and see what we can do.
all right,
Maybe get MSA involved and do a drainage plan for that area,
yeah,
where the clay will still work, but we can also have it so we can drain it.
yeah.
We talked about this 10 years ago, so
I
nothing
mean,
happened.
Veterans Park is good. I do get concerned when I see the little kids, and they're out there, and they're you're using the monuments as a,
Play structure.
yes, I was looking for the term. And you have to sort of, hey, please don't do that, because the parents aren't there. And
Well, we're kind of there.
some are there. And I'm not being, get off of there. No, you ask them nice. But it's not the best location up there, right on Highway 12, because of traffic.
Westside Park has restroom facilities as well.
I know.
It does.
That's right.
So, I mean, that would take off some of their outgoing expenditures for, they got the porta potties there and everything, so.
Well, and there's just more there for kids. I mean,
And if
there's
it
a
works for
deal.
Fire Fest, why can't it work for concerts?
Okay, this isn't
Yeah.
on the agenda, though.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, I'm
That's
just,
okay.
yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
let you know that I thought that,
Maybe we can put it on the agenda for next one.
Number 12.
I think so.
yeah. Okay, it takes care of my report. And I think, Lisa, isn't Keystone, don't they have the road closed here right away in August?
They do have the Red Fest coming up. I'm not sure what the date is, but.
August
yeah,
6th
that
or
one block
something?
of Mill Street
Yeah,
will be
okay.
I'm missing it.
closed off.
Oh,
Alright.
and the trail, this weekend is the trail dedication.
Yes,
Okay.
August 1st.
Thank
Alright.
you.
Okay,
Going on in Cambridge.
Yeah, very busy.
okay, library board.
Well, I attended my first meeting this month, and we put one more person on the library board. We interviewed 2 people, and then we asked one to come onto the board after our board approved it. So we'll have election of officers next month, or this month, next month.
All right,
That's about all I know.
okay, so library is in good shape.
Oh, sure.
Okay, and then we'll move right into village office updates. Ms. Moen.
A lot of ongoing projects. Like Carla said, the bike trail, we are moving forward. They will be starting work on that shortly, starting with some brush trees and stuff get taken down and so forth. But that will be starting. The kickoff is August 1st, open to the public out at the Cambridge Winery. We all know a lot going on with the solar and the energy subcommittee. Economic development, we're working on bringing Jefferson County in to do a presentation to them.
Which you guys are welcome to come as well.
Yes.
I think it's going to be very informative.
Yep, the Jefferson County Economic Development will be coming in and
Okay,
doing a presentation.
all right.
So we'll send out dates, and I just
Yeah.
sent you an email. so-
I sent you one back.
Okay, good. Finalizing that date. I didn't bring my notes down. Just, so a lot of these ongoing projects, still working with the winery, development. What am I missing?
Was there
Are you getting that
Updates like
straightened out,
that.
Lisa?
Hmm?
You getting that straightened out with the winery?
Things are moving forward. We'll be setting a meeting up.
Oh.
The attorney is out of town right now. When he gets back, we'll be setting up
Okay.
a meeting. But things are moving forward.
Mhm.
How is it going with the old offices? Have you had a chance to get into there yet?
No, my hope is when Barb comes back and she's able to, that we'll have some time then that she can focus on working on that as well as helping on other things like the budget. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, be nice if we could get that. Okay. Any other questions for Lisa? Okay, we're gonna move on. Bills.
The
Kristen?
first run was $24,675.11, and the second run that we did today was $2,840.70, with a grand total of $27,515.81.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to pay bills and set amount.
I will second.
All right, we got a motion, a second. Do we have any questions regarding the bills? Okay, hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Franklin, Whitmer,
Yes.
Reinig,
Yes.
Galler,
Yes.
Kumbir,
Sure.
Rose,
Yes.
McNally.
Yes. All right. Moving on to 8. Item 8, new business, the WEDC grant for the Cambridge Inn on Main.
Hey. So there's a WEDC WEDC grant, community investment grant, which the incentive is for downtown community development. And for the motel going in, boutique hotel going in on Main Street, is interested in this. It's similar to the grant program that we did with Row Pottery. It is, we apply as a community and are the go-between with the business. So they provide us all the numbers for the project and so forth, payment basin documentation to WEDC, payment comes to us, we then forward it on. So it is a grant up to $250,000. The grant being requested is $62,600. It can be up for up to 25% of the project. So Tony is here if we have questions. It is, the board did a number of months ago make changes to allow the motel on Main Street. So this is the next step. We would submit the paperwork on their behalf, and this would be a fairly quick process. So we've been working with WEDC, with Tony, so we need board approval to submit that grant request for
Okay.
this project.
Does anybody want to, do we want to ask questions of Tony or go right to
But is there a risk to the village in this one? I assume it's covered by a financial institution, the process and the down payment and the risk and all of that is covered?
Yep,
Okay.
that's all.
You have to prove your financial wherewithal to get the grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they also connect it to if there's financing on. Currently, up to now, I've not had any financing on that. But we're gonna have financing through Badger Bank on some of it. That's why the grant amount's so low, because anything that I've spent up to August cannot even be applied to it. So the sooner it gets done, the sooner I can apply the future work, but nothing that has been done in the past, nothing that has been bid can be on there.
Okay.
I got a question, how many rooms are gonna be in this hotel?
It's 6 rentable spaces, one of them is a 3-room suite.
Okay.
From the Munson Law Office.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's not a Hampton Inn, but
No, but
certainly
it'll help
will
you out.
cover the needs of some of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So the village is an intermediary, there's no risk, it's
No.
just an extra piece
Yeah.
of paperwork. Excellent. Everybody loves hoops.
Yep.
Anybody want to make a motion? or-
Lisa, I recall there was some bumps in the road with the Rowe pottery situation. Do we have any lessons learned there that?
I think it was slowed down some in getting the documentation and the paperwork from Rose, so that is
Okay.
all on
Okay.
their shoulders to get the documentation to submit to WIDA. They approve it and then send the funds on. So, yeah, it was coming toward the end of the project, and they were still looking for some of the paperwork
Okay.
in that one.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the WEDIC grant request for the Cambridge Inn on Main.
I'll second.
Okay. Tony, I've got some questions here, but they're more just regarding the entire project.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. How are you doing with everything? I mean, is this kind of coming in?
We had a bit of a pause. The state instituted a new process of approving plans, and what was typically a 4-week process turned into a 16-week. So there's only so much work you can do with the confidence that the state's gonna approve what's going on in there. So it did definitely slow us down, because you can't do HVAC bids, you can't do the plumbing bids, you can't do the electrical bids. They actually have to map and plan their own out and submit them to the state as well. But they can't even begin that process without the state approved plan, which I have here that I picked up yesterday morning.
Well-
So that was most of the delay. Secondarily, right now, it's labor, so I'm at a bit of a standstill with one little component that the state changed with regards to fire protection. Not the sprinkler system, but every room has to be completely its own fireproof 90-minute domain. So that changed some of the complexity, nothing too major, but amazing how hard it is to find someone to screw drywall in. Oh, I have a drywall contract let for the main part, but this was not in that, and that's, so hopefully within the next 10 days I'll have that done. And then everything else moves. Once the walls get framed, we have the plumbing and electrical and HVAC all ready. They're just waiting for the walls. And the only walls we have to put up are on the first floor.
Okay, and that back wall that faces Amundsen, I remember you and I, when we looked at that you could see it move. That's all been taken care of, and
Yeah, well, you probably saw, we had masons out there, I was not here, but there were masons that retuck pointed the full south wall now, the full exterior, all the way up to the gutter. The interior's been completely rebuilt. The only change in what we've probably spoken of in the past is the initial state inspector that worked with the architect was not there when the final plan submittal went in. We got another guy from the sideline who changed and went from using the new windows as egress to adding a fire escape out the back. So, and it's not a fire escape that would go along the side of the building, it actually projects out. So I've got to meet with Scott and just show him that. It was in the architectural plan written as treated lumber. They did that so that any trade could install it. My intent is to do it in a low-profile steel so that it can be painted and it's not as visible. It would, you'd be able to almost, you'd see through more of it, see the natural building, not this big wood residential deck-looking structure.
Okay, all right.
You're asking for 62 out of 250. Is there any reason why that?
You only can get 25%
Okay.
of the spend, and I am doing everything I would love to ask for 40. But I've spent so much already that can't even be applied.
Okay.
So that's the estimate of what we have starting, say, the second week in August and on to complete it. And only components that are really structural and would qualify for that type of grant, so.
Okay.
All right. Lisa, we've got a motion and a second. Do we have to have a roll call in this?
No.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Before we call the matter to vote? Okay, all those in favor of approval of the WEDC grant for the Cambridge Inn on Main Street, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, carries.
Thank you very much.
All right. Going to move on. The extraterritorial CSM for Gusta Lane, Gusta? Not sure. Lane out in the town of Oakland.
This lot is being split. The line was changed to meet the setbacks for the current house that's there, so that lot 2 could be a buildable lot. And I just need, the town of Oakland has approved it. We, being in the extraterritorial zone, have to approve it as well.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the CSM for Gusta Lane in town of Oakland.
I'll second.
All right.
So we have one lot and we're splitting it into 2 so they can sell the other one? Okay. Is there any issue with that?
No. No.
Okay.
It's a big, large enough lot, the setbacks,
There's some big
so
lots
that
too.
the house, current house meets the setbacks. And
I'm sorry, I'm the owner, so I came just to see.
Oh.
It's currently 2 lots.
Oh, it is too, the lot line was just changed.
Yeah, because
For
I
the-
think our house was like one of the original ones in that area. So when how the lots were all split, like when we bought our home, we got both lots with it. But the one line of it is close to like our back sunroom.
Okay.
So it's just moving basically one corner of the lot down a little bit to allow 25 feet, which is required for the zoning.
Yep.
So it was 2 lots, it's just making it more, I guess, within the zoning requirements, which it never was.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second?
Yeah?
All right, all those in favor of approval of the extraterritorial CSM for the Gusta Lane, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving on, the park reservation permit. Beverly Seaman here and Row Pottery, Veterans Park, Friday, August 6th, Maxwell Street Days. I don't see Beverly, so do you know what?
She's asking to use the park for vendors on Maxwell Street days, and park reservations have to be approved by the board.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is she aware that if this is on Friday, August 6th, what day is that? Is that a Saturday?
Friday?
It's Friday.
Is that
Friday.
Friday, August 6th.
No, it's Friday. It's August.
Yeah,
She'll have to
six.
provide her own restrooms?
Yes. That's what I was.
She knows there's no restrooms in the park.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I was going, was the restrooms. Okay, as long as she knows that.
All right.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, Everly gets the park, use of the park. Okay, a street permit application. Janelle Grunwald wants to close down a section of Oriole Lane on September 6, 2021.
So they want to do a small block party before school starts. The police did look at it. They did recommend approval of it. There are other entrances into the area. It's not blocking any thoroughfare. So they did recommend approval.
Okay. Anybody care to make a motion
I'll make a motion
for approval?
to closure of a section of Oriole Lane on September 6th.
All right, do we have a second here?
I'll second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval of the application from Janelle Grunwald to close down a section of Oriole Lane, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll move on.
Are you concerned?
No, it just reminds me of something that I went
Were
through.
you invited?
No.
Yeah, is that the problem?
No, years and years back, when I lived in another town, we had a situation like this. And I went there, and it was a group like this, and there's people out there, and so I had to wait. And this was the last thing on the agenda. And I was kind of getting just mildly irritated because it was taking so long. And we were going to close it down, and they wanted to put in a little sound system. And then they wanted to know, well, what was it all about? And I said, well, we want to have a sound system because we're going to have the guys from Van Halen come by. And they're doing a concert, and they were that weekend. They were down at Alpine Valley. Now, I have acquaintances, they're not friends. But I thought, well, geez, maybe those guys would want to come up and just give us a little concert. We wouldn't have enough electricity. And so I said, well, there might be a possibility we'll have Van Halen. And they were like, oh, yeah, yuck it up. Okay, fine, this is approved. And I thought, I've asked it. I told you that Van Halen might be here. What would you do if they showed up? And they didn't, of course. So that's what I was remembering. It's just that, you get these little block parties, and they're cute. I mean, the kids love it, so.
Will Van Halen be there?
Don't think so.
Okay.
I'll
put my money elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie's coming around and doing anything. Okay. Yes, we're going to move on.
There's that.
Yeah. The Dane County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. Lisa?
I put some information in the packet. This is an update to the Dane County plan. We did participate the last time. We would need a representative from the village to be part of this. They have information and so forth that they need us to fill out.
When are they gonna meet?
Hmm?
When's the meeting gonna be?
It's an ongoing project. I believe they already had one kickoff meeting already, but I do have information, so, one, we need approval to, yes, participate in this again, and then a representative, to be the village representative on it.
Okay. All right. Anybody care to make a motion for the approval of the agreement to participate in the 2023 Dane County Natural Hazard Plan update?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions for Lisa?
Who's our representative?
Yeah, we gotta throw a body at this.
Yeah, a name has to be on it when it's
Okay.
submitted.
I would like to do it,
Okay.
if I could. You're all right with that?
I'm fine with
Okay.
that. Is Tammy fine with it?
If it's during the school year, it's just, you go, Mark. So, okay, all right. So, I'll do this. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries. Moving on, unfinished business. This noise ordinance. Boy, this thing just keeps coming around here.
We brought it before you a couple of meetings ago. It was asked to run it by, to do a little bit of tweaking with it, run it by our attorney. So we have done that. Mary did sign off on it this week. Again, it is at the request of the Dane County deputies to allow some building on the weekends. The county's getting called in. We've had this over the years with different subdivisions, people calling in, and the builders are trying to get their work done, sometimes due to weather, due to not being able to get materials and so forth. They're on time crunches. We're not seeing them out there with large machinery on the weekends, but they may be putting up drywall and somebody's calling, you know, they're hammering over there.
Well, they have a right
Trying to
to.
get it done. Yeah. So, the Dane County deputies did request this change, and
Did we hold off separating between, like, heavy equipment on the weekends versus non-heavy?
the language that we pulled from, other, ordinances in other communities is if the operation is not plainly audible from
Got it.
within other residential structures.
Okay.
What happens when a homeowner gets out on their big tractor at 7 o'clock in the morning?
Well, and part of it too is a homeowner who wants to put up a shed on the weekend because
That's
they
right.
work all week. Under the current ordinances, weren't allowed to be out there
That's
putting
true.
up a shed on the weekend.
Yep.
So it's not just the subdivisions,
That's true.
but
Yep.
homeowners doing work
Good.
as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the Village of Cambridge ordinance number 2021-02 and amending section 8.32.020.
So these hours are in line with other communities in Dane County?
Yeah,
Okay.
some vary,
Pretty much
some go
standard.
till 10 o'clock. We did switch it back, some end at 6, but it is pretty standard.
Okay.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval of this ordinance change, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Let's take care. Let's see, moving on.
Can I ask a question, more of an administrative question? So now that this is approved, how does that process work with it being updated on our online ordinance?
I
Because
have
there's
to
some-
go back, we have to send in updates periodically.
Right.
So we have to do that. First step is it has to be published in the newspaper,
Right.
an ordinance change. But yeah, we do have to do some catch-up. We had one other ordinance this year.
Fence.
Oh,
And
the
some from
mega
Amanda.
tree
Um,
updates from.
Yeah, so we have to get some updates sent in, and
And that company is out of Florida that does our ordinance updates?
somewhere down south, yeah.
All right. But the police know about it and they have it updated in there?
Yes, I'll let them know if passed.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. Fire Commission update. We'll start with the Building Subcommittee update. Chris?
And I'm going to defer to Ted because I did not make that meeting. Ted was there though.
I felt we got off track a little bit this last meeting. Somebody, one of the committee members brought up of splitting the EMS off this new building and putting a separate building up. And I don't know how much sense that makes. We're going to have J.J. Keller give us a price on it, a rough price on what it would cost to do that versus putting it into the proposed new fire station and EMS building. So we talked about that a little bit, and that was about it for the meeting.
Okay. Any questions? Ted?
That makes sense, Chris?
Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, all right. As far as the commission update, there is a meeting this week, Thursday. And so I'll report next time. But
Sure.
my powers of clairvoyance have dimmed considerably. So I can't really tell you what all that we're going to talk about.
You talking about budget? Because that's due coming up, right?
I will be bringing that up, that we need to get going on the budget and having that so that we can drop those numbers in.
Right.
So, okay. Moving on, correspondence, I don't see anything
No.
here.
Nope, we got a,
You know what, I've got an old one.
Here.
And I didn't print off the new one.
Oh, we got one.
Energy Subcommittee. Wyatt.
I'll take both these. So we've been talking about both these. I'll start with the grant application. So I did look it over a little bit. It's not very long. I just have to go in and fill it out. This is really just approval that we can submit it. I don't know if you guys want to review it beforehand. It's pretty straightforward. We're just filling out the grant to say that we're requesting intervenor funds. And then we'll have our legal counsel review it before we submit anything. So rather than have them fill it out for us, because they'll have to come to us for info, we're going to fill it out and then have them review it afterwards just to make sure it's good to go. So that's it.
but you need an actionable.
Yeah, similar to the.
So I'll
the
make a
grant we just
motion
did,
to
so-
approve the PSC intervenor grant application.
I'll second.
All right, questions? Call the matter to vote. All those in approval, please signify by saying aye.
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
The second one is, as we discussed several months ago, we put aside, or essentially designated about $5,000 for legal counsel for the Energy Subcommittee. We spent $2 at the beginning of this month. We've had a lot more action from our legal counsel this month. I have a feeling we're probably closer to $4. I don't know exactly because we haven't seen an invoice and we won't until the end of this month. So just want to bring that up. I'm not going to ask for a huge amount. I'm thinking just another 5 or so just to be covered until we can get this grant application. Obviously, that's the hope, is that all of this will be covered by that in the end, or will be reimbursed, because that's how the grant works. So,
My feeling is the attorney's going to start doing a little bit more for us. I hope he is anyway.
yep.
And he mentioned a number out there when we met with him. And I would say that's not to exceed 20,000 right now. We're going to have to go forward. If we're going to fight this, we're going to fight it.
But you're asking for 5.
Yeah, we haven't made any decisions yet in terms of actually going into.
My money is not to
present-
exceed that, so it's included.
Yeah, I'm fine either way. I would be okay with either one. The first time we'd have to present to the PSC wouldn't be till November anyways, based on the schedule. So I think it's October is when Invenergy will have to present, and then we would have to present as an intervener in November. Obviously, he will do work between now and then, but I also have village board meetings between now and then. So I'm fine with smaller or larger. I just was sort of keeping it small because I know we were hesitant to sort of go larger and just sort of keep reins on it.
Right.
Yeah, Chris?
I have a question about our representation's defined role. Can you give me a synopsis of what his
Yeah, so
defined role is?
we have 2 legal counsel, they're partners. Matt Fleming, who's been coming to a lot of our meetings, he is more municipality, like legal counsel, so he's the one that's sort of helping us plan out just joint developer agreement, any kind of negotiations we do, any sort of these discussions of, well, how does this all work with solar? How does the play work here and stuff like that. Matt Fink, who is his partner, would actually be the one litigating at the PSC if we have to get to that point.
Okay.
He would be the one presenting to the PSD, working with us on those things, reviewing the grant as well. So they're both sort of just our representation to give us expert advice on working with this energy project as a whole, reaching out to other municipalities, potentially expert groups to help us sort of build our case if we need to get to that point.
Right, but it's my understanding that they're representing us to oppose the solar.
Correct. They're our representation as an intervener, so
Right.
the opposition as the project is proposed,
Okay. So
along with expert and legal counsel.
with the meeting we had Thursday, in open session portion of it, we came out of closed session and that legal counsel was directed to give the two parties a synopsis on what our direction is.
Mm-hmm.
I see a conflict with that.
Okay.
Can I ask it? I don't know. I mean, working with legal, it just seems like there's always dollars, but there's no invoice. Like with the hotel,
Mhm.
you get at least an idea of your dollars versus hours and what you accomplish with those dollars, but I'm uncomfortable with putting out more dollars with a vague idea of where those dollars are going to go.
Oh, I see what you're
moving
saying,
forward.
without an estimate of what it's, I mean, he has given us rough estimates. It depends on what it
Probably
actually
done
would
that
take,
to
but.
the energy subcommittee, like,
Yeah.
but I feel like personally I'm missing that
Oh,
information.
I mean, the invoices are in the bills. We're in there.
Yeah, they're
So it's all
current.
listed in what we've been paying him and what we've
No, I
been
know that
doing.
we're paying it, and I
Yeah.
know that we're putting out those dollars. I guess initially, and then maybe it's just my inexperience in this. Initially, you kind of know what you're getting for what you're getting.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Chris, because Chris, you had some
Was
questions?
interrupted.
Yeah, why don't you
Oh, I'm
continue
sorry.
on?
So my question, I guess, goes to Lisa then, with representation for the proposal that was brought up between Hinchley and the two developers. Shouldn't we seek separate legal counsel for that?
For which part? I guess, I'm curious, but which part of it?
Because that is a separate development. And if we go off of what you said, that our representatives that we have are to oppose,
Mhm.
we should, I would think we would either have like Mary Bailing or our representative from the village represent us for I don't know.
What they were asking though for, Chris,
Remember, we were in closed session too.
right,
Um,
I know. I don't know if we can talk about it.
But we went out of closed
We
session.
made no motions coming.
I
out of
understand
closed
that, but the moving forward, it was put out that we would have our legal counsel touch base with the parties.
That's right.
So why would the parties want to work with that legal counsel? Closed session, open session, why would the parties want to work with that?
I think partially the development is tied to the solar project, and that's
But-
where.
But
you
we're
know,
putting the cart
but-
before the horse, in that situation. Bless you. So I
Should
don't know
we-
what you think about that, Wyatt, but it just seems like we need to keep our legal counsel from your subcommittee focused on what they're doing, as opposed to diverting them to a,
Well, I think, depends on what you're saying, what they're going to do. I guess is the end point is, they reached out to us
right?
to respond to them. That's what he did. What will he do after this in terms of the longer term between those two parties for that development agreement? I think he probably will not be involved. He will not be the one sort of planning out any sort
That's
of
right.
anything after that. I think it was that piece, and then if they reach out again at some point, because as Lisa said, it is tied to the energy project, then that's where they would respond, is that party.
All right.
So,
With that being said, I'll make a motion to add additional funds for legal counsel for the energy subcommittee not to exceed $5,000.
For a total of 10 now, right?
Right.
All right, we got a
Can
motion.
that like
I'll second
complete?
it, and then now you can talk.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, we got
sorry.
a second. Ted.
Can that $5,000, so the total $10,000, have a completion goal of having the intervenor status completed at the end of those dollars? Can we have something done with that money besides asking for additional, like, is there any, do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, no, I know what you're
Nothing's
saying.
coming
I mean,
out.
I don't think I can answer that, because I don't know. I think it's really going to be dependent on the Energy Subcommittee and ultimately this board, what we decide action-wise to do, and if I'll need to ask for more. I mean, if our action is, we decide we will come to an agreement at some point and no longer be an intervener, and that is covered within the $10,000, then that's how it'll end. If it's, we need to keep going further, then we're going to go further. I mean, obviously, that's why I'm applying for the grant, too, is the whole goal is to get reimbursed for this money. And so the
What is
$5,000,
the likelihood of that?
I mean,
goal?
based on what
Percentage.
I've heard from our legal counsel, only one municipality has ever applied for it, and they got it, and they got $9,000. And every year, there's put away about $2 million in the PSC for intervener
So you're
funds.
saying it's likely?
It seems likely. I mean, I guess there's only one other example, and they got
Yeah,
it.
a data
So
point of one.
there's a 100% chance, based on statistics, that I would get it. I don't know how that works
Pretty
out. So.
complete. Okay.
So it's all new to us. I mean, and even our legal counsel said no
But I
one else
think we
has
should
really
try
applied
for
to
it.
this. So
We're
Right,
stupid
but if we
don't.
try for it and we become the statistic drops to 50% chance, then we're on the hook for those dollars, and we're not
but we're only at 10. So I mean, again.
only at 10.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm hoping to submit that soon, very soon. And so if I come back and tell you guys in August that we didn't get it, if it comes back that quickly, then we can also change our vote and say we're going to cut it down or something.
Well, and
we
we
leave it at
don't,
10.
we don't know the total cost of what we need to apply with, to the PSC for.
Well, right, because that dollar
not over
amount
with yet.
is one of those goalposts that move based
That's
on
right.
the
It is.
lawyer's determination of how much they need. And I don't love that.
All I can say is I've been continuing to keep meetings short, or try to keep them short,
Just
and
hang
keep
on.
it focused. So,
And I'm sure that you do. I know that you
Yeah.
appreciate all of the
yeah.
all of the situation here. Okay.
We said we're gonna have enough in reserves for this and Rover's truck until we can get the loan taken out. We should.
Yeah.
What was the timeline for the loan, for the reimbursement? I mean, obviously the dollars have to be spent, but
I don't know what the turnaround is for the actual like reimbursement of the grant.
when does the application start?
I don't know offhand. I don't have it in front
What
of
an
me, but
application.
I just ballpark. What was it?
What was the application for?
The
When does it-
grant
when does it start?
reimbursement.
I think it's just throughout the year. Each
Throughout
year
the
they
year.
set up-
Throughout
Yeah,
the
they-
year.
they set it up as needed sort of thing, is my
Okay.
understanding. So.
And then when you get into
apply,
some
yeah.
sort of completion, you total up the bills and apply for the grant.
I think so, or maybe throughout, I don't know, I'll have to look and see, or ask the PSC what, once we apply, and if we get it, how does
Right.
that work reimbursement? Is it the end, or is it during, or what, so.
Okay. Do you think we could have more information on reimbursement before we vote on this?
For which the.
For what?
For the
money?
additional dollars? I mean, we're not out the money yet,
Yeah,
and we have other meetings coming up, and you think there's reimbursement, but some
yeah,
of the details aren't in front of us.
but that's why I'm trying to keep it small. So, I mean, I guess we could, if the board decides to vote no, because we have a motion and a second, and we
Right.
defer it until the first meeting of August, then we can, but.
We don't want to be in a situation where we're, we don't want to be in a situation where we're starting, stopping, starting, stopping.
Right.
We want
Yep.
some fluidity with this particular legal counsel.
I guess I just don't want to open tab either.
Right.
I understand
can
that,
respect
but I
that.
think we need to, to
Okay.
raise it another
But it's
5,000.
roll call time.
Yeah, it's going to be. Any other final questions before we call the matter to vote?
So can we at the next meeting have more information about reimbursement?
Yeah, I'm hoping to submit the grant in the next week, 2 weeks. So I will have
Okay.
an answer on what that is
But
and
you-
have it submitted, ideally, so.
You have to understand, Carla, that we can't predict whether it's going to get approved or not.
No, I
So-
understand that.
You know,
So-
the way I read it quite a while ago, and I believe that when it's all said and done, we can apply for a grant. And
Or
we don't know what our costs are going to be yet.
reimbursement.
What is that?
Reimbursement.
Reimbursement,
Not
that's
grant.
correct.
Yeah.
We aren't going to know. It could be 25,000, it could be 50,000, I don't know.
It could be 150,000.
That's exactly right.
Well, that's
Yeah, we
ridiculous.
Okay, we're working off a $5,000 increment.
Correct.
Wyatt
Okay.
Yeah,
is
that's
watching
not-
this. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Whitworth,
Yes.
Reinet,
Yes?
Geller,
Yes.
Kumbir,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Franklin, McMillan.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Item number 10. Correspondence? I don't see anything here.
No.
Okay, we've got some meetings coming up. August 9th, Plan Commission. August 10th, Joint Law Enforcement. August 10th, Village Board that evening. The 17th is the Energy Subcommittee. The Water and Sewer is that same evening. August 24th, Audit and Finance. August 24th, the Village Board. Public Works to be determined, and Economic Development to be determined. Moving on, questions, referrals to staff, or future agenda items. I had something, and I was wondering, you know, just to get it to the group. I talked to Jim Womble, or Wombly? Womble. And we have a new superintendent. And I was wondering if, maybe you thought it might be helpful if we had the superintendent come in September or so, and just talk to us about the school system.
That'd be great.
There's a new superintendent, and she might have some insight as far as, you know, some major programs and what's going on. I mean, that's a big part of the community.
I think that's an outstanding idea, but probably move it up from September. She's going to be a little busy in September with school starting.
I get it.
So maybe,
Well, we can extend the invitation and see.
Yeah.
See when you can make it.
when's her availability, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be September, but I mean, if, you know, Jim said he'd be happy to do it. So if you're okay with that, then I'll extend the invitation, and I'll let you know when.
That'd be great.
Okay?
And follow up, Supervisor McGinnity did reach out to the new Dane County Sheriff, and he is looking to come to our next joint law enforcement committee
Okay.
meeting.
All right. Okay, anything else?
I think, Chris, did you had your?
Yeah, you just stole my thunder there.
I would like to know more about, we had an email out some time ago about the water, and then there, Mark, you replied that you went out there, but that there was a plan, that there was something alluding in that email about water and sewer having an overall plan, and that plan not being enacted or enabled, or that the water and sewer committee, can you?
We're working on a maintenance plan, if that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the maintenance
Yeah.
plan.
The
thank you.
maintenance plan.
Yeah,
it's-
that's
it's
being
worked
worked on
as
as
we
we
talk
speak.
about it
Yeah.
right now.
Oh,
That
okay.
should be ready for the next
Next.
meeting,
Okay.
next water and sewer meeting.
Yep.
RFPs also went out today for the media replacement to get those back before the next water and sewer meeting.
Okay.
So
That was
number
the
of
only thing
things.
that I had to, that I
We
didn't.
haven't let it drop.
What's that?
It's very important to us.
That's why I was checking.
Yep.
Thank you, Ted.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
Chris?
Lisa, it's my understanding that our legal representative, Mary Bailing, is going to be retiring here in the not-too-distant future. Bless you.
Excuse me.
So is there any way we could put on a future agenda item about seeking village legal representation for the future?
Yeah, I will reach out to Mary. She has, you know, expressed that she will be retiring coming up sometime. I can reach out to her, see what her timeline looks like, so that we can start planning what we will do.
And we should probably have something on the upcoming meetings about a joint meeting with Oakland.
Yes, and I did talk to them today. So she was going to reach out to her board. We usually do the joint meeting
Her board.
late summer. The deputy out there will be taking over when Chris Estrella leaves, so
Okay.
she'll be taking over as the clerk treasurer. So she will check with them on scheduling, and so if we start thinking of ideas for agenda items for that joint meeting.
And cupcakes.
Yeah, cupcakes. I approve cupcakes. I second cupcakes.
Okay. Anything else? Item 13, please.